1 year on, the Phoenix community north of Durban is still mourning the deaths of their loved ones, relatives, friends and neighbours. The community was clouded with streaks of violence during the 2021 July protests, which turned violent, leaving at least 36 people from the community dead. This also led to escalating racial tensions at the time. Now, Police Minister Bheki Cele announced on Thursday during a security cluster briefing that overall 164 cases were investigated, 120 are still under investigation, while 36 people have been arrested for murders, with the Hawks probing 8 cases of incitement. To look back on those gruesome events that took place in that community around this time last year, we speak to the Phoenix Residents Association's member, Marvin Govender. Marvin, thank you so much for your time and thank you for joining us this morning on the Weekend Report.
Thank you, ma'am, and good morning to your viewers.
Well, as you would have heard there in my introduction to the story, some 160 criminal investigation cases opened, 120 or so still being investigated. So relatively around 70% of those cases still lying dormant is the sense that we're getting from this particular development. Your thoughts on that? Are you at all disappointed on the lack of progress, seemingly, from law enforcement?
Well, from the very onset, there's been basically dragging of feet in terms of even investigations and curbing the riots in terms of within the confines and boundaries of Phoenix. So it's not something unnew. It's not something that the public actually would like to, want the process to be expedited, perpetrators brought to book. And just for the community to ensure we build stronger race relations. I mean, we're coming from, a very violent past. And it's about time that we reconcile and also ensure that we move forward, we build our country. And there has been what can I say, expediting the cases, which everybody wants closure on. The families that have been grieving for over a year now actually wants closure on the matters. So, that's where it stands. And we, as the civic body, we're really disappointed. I mean, this should have been given priority because, guys' lives were lost, families want closure, perpetrators that committed this heinous crime must be brought to book. And it feels as if the wheels of justice is turning very slowly.
I mean, a year on, while we are marking the 1 year anniversary of the July unrest and taking a look at the sporadic violence that we saw taking place across KZN and Gauteng, the Phoenix community was a very sort of unique situation because we know that there were instances of racial profiling, racially charged tensions resulting in the deaths of at least 36 people. Now, shortly after the unrest were quelled, there was a lot of peace-building efforts taking place in that community to try and not only heal the wounds of what had just happened, but to try to get to the bottom of those racial divisions. So talk to us about those efforts. How far along are they? Are you starting to see some fruits being yielded from those efforts?
Yes. I would like to mention the Shagwellers movement that were very instrumental, other organizations, in terms of trying to mediate the Gandhi Peace Center in Bombay and our organization and various other organizations that played a role. Currently, with the floods and stuff, we're still trying to play a meaningful role in terms of water and food security in the area. And it's just been building blocks now. I mean, and the basis for the entire, multi-layered issues that were engulfing the riots, it took place during a time when there were no social grants that people were, given. And people, in the periphery areas and in Phoenix live in abject poverty. Unemployment is high. So it's like even apartheid has to be blamed for this. I mean, you cannot have people, living below the breadline and, trying to acquire services and trying to move from, one area to the other in terms of employment, and you still expect, a nation to rise. So it's very difficult conditions that people do live in the Bambai, Amauti areas, including Phoenix, and it's basically boils down to apartheid spatial planning. I mean, if you look at the numbers and the racial, classification of people that passed on, it was mostly, our majority are African brothers and sisters, and then there were a few people that were, of Indian origin that actually passed on. But it was basically a situation that, even the Democratic Alliance with regard to their flags have not been brought to book. And although, there's efforts in terms of building, but political parties, this want to cut us straight in the center and divide these both communities. These both communities have been living for years together, and each community is independent on the other. So we would, personally, I would like to see the issue of the posters, the racist posters, the perpetrators being brought to book, the social media commentators and all these fake news and stuff, they should be brought to book. I don't think the South African cybercrime unit actually played their role in terms of trying to ensure that all these fake
Marvin,
profiles...
just to come in here at this particular moment, a year later we still have residents of Phoenix saying that they don't feel safe in their neighborhoods, expressing feelings of not being able to trust their neighbors, because essentially what we saw happening in Phoenix was neighbors turning on neighbors. That had to have breed a particular type of trauma. And so I'm wondering about psychosocial efforts to try and heal those divisions. While I understand the socioeconomic sort of characteristics in the community that are prevailing even today, I really would like to get a sense from you if you think that as a community you've been able to come out on the other side of this.
Not totally. No, not totally. I think in terms of, you can't come like a month and just give psychosocial services and then allow a problem that has been actually, if you look at it historically, I wasn't born in 1949, but in 1949 you had the Nats government that put the African and the Indian communities against each other. And that investigation that took place a long time ago has not been finalized. The 85 in under riots has been another incident that is still etched into the memories of the Indian community.
Right.
So these were two, historical events that still plagues the Indian community. We chat, we hear around, whispers in the corners of what's going on. And the issue is that we need kind of a body that will now ensure, race relations is built.
Right.
Marvin? And each community is not pitted against the other.
Yeah. Marvin, I'm so sorry. We have unfortunately run out of time and we do have to leave that conversation there. Thank you for joining us on the Weekend Report and helping us to mark the 1 year past since the Phoenix killings that we saw during the July unrest. So that was Marvin Govender from the Phoenix Residents Association. Right.